Chapter 81 King of Slaughter, I want to report someone for cheating. You are listening at novelfull.audio. No one else protested against Mu Chen's arrangement. Dai Mubai has mastered the cloud-dispelling palm, Zhu Zhuqing learned the wind god kick from Mu Chen, Ma Hongjun obtained the fire escape and fireball technique, even Ning Rongrong, the auxiliary soul master, and Oscar, the food soul master. He also possesses the powerful Bajibang. As for Tang San, needless to say, he was a loser. He possesses many unique skills of Tang's sect. Xiao Wubei is a soul beast in her own right, because of her special identity and special soul skills. Xiao Wu should be able to use her soul skills even here. How are you, Xiao Wu? Mu Chen looked at Xiao Wu with concern. Xiao Wu opened her eyes and said in surprise, "Brother, I can feel my soul skills. I can't be restricted by anything here." Ah. Xiao Wu, what are you talking about? You said you can use your soul skills here. Meng Yiran, Zhu Zhuqing, Dai Mubai and others looked at Xiao Wu with dull eyes. They can feel that their soul rings are greatly restricted and cannot use the soul skills contained in the soul rings. However, Xiao Wu said that she could use soul-destroying skills here. Xiao Wu nodded, her eyes evasive. She could know that she could use soul skills, but her companions around her couldn't. It must be related to her identity as a soul beast. Seeing Xiao Wu nodding, Dai Mubai asked doubtfully, "Boss Mu, do you know what's going on?" Mu Chen naturally knew, but now was not the time to tell these people Xiao Wu's identity. Mu Chen avoided the important and explained vaguely, "Many people think that soul skills cannot be used here in the city of killing. In fact, this is incorrect. I have seen an introduction to the city of killing in an ancient book. The Slaughter King of the Slaughter City can use soul skills." Really? Dai Mubai asked with a stunned expression. Mu Chen nodded and said, "In this Slaughter City, in addition to the King of Slaughter, some Death Knights who have been given additional privileges by the Slaughter City can also use soul skills here. In addition, the Slaughter City can borrowing soul power, you just can't use the soul skills in the soul ring. I guess if you create some self-created soul skills, you can definitely use them here." Self-created soul skills. Tang San was very smart and could understand everything with just a few clicks. Soul masters obtain soul rings from soul beasts, and the soul skills contained in the soul rings come from the soul beasts. However, Xiao Wu can use her soul skills here. Doesn't this mean that Xiao Wu is not a human being? Tang San's eyes widened and he stared at Xiao Wu with an almost petrified expression. Tang San had a very deep understanding of martial spirits and spirit beasts. If Xiao Wu is not a human, then Xiao Wu must be a spirit beast that is more than 100,000 years old. If you kill a soul beast that is more than 100,000 years old, and you can explode a soul ring that is 100,000 years old, you will definitely get a superior soul bone. For soul masters, probably no one can resist this temptation. Yes, Tang San was moved, being stared at by Tang San's piercing gaze. Xiao Wu shrank and hid behind Mu Chen. Mu Chen patted Xiao Wu's hand and noticed Tang San's gaze. After glaring at Tang San, the latter immediately restrained himself and severely extinguished the desire in his heart. Mu Chen glanced at the other members of the Shrek 9 monsters. Except for Tang San, no one else could see through Xiao Wu's identity. Dai Mubai said thoughtfully, "Is this the reason why you have been teaching us various self-created soul skills in recent times?" Mu Chen nodded and said, "You can just imagine. In the hell-killing field of the killing city, your opponent can only use martial arts and some combat skills to fight you, but you can use soul skills. What kind of scene will it be?" Dai Mubai, Oscar, Ma Hongjun, Zhu Zhuqing, Ning Rongrong, and Meng Yiran opened their eyes wide with surprise, and blurted out, "Abused! Abused! Tyrannical!" Mu Chen nodded and said, "Yes, not to mention, you still have many hidden weapons and 10,000 detonating talismans in your hands." Well. Dai Mubai was happy. Ning Rongrong smiled, even the aloof Zhu Zhuqing's mouth curled up slightly. To others, this place is a city of killing and killing. For them, this is simply a novice village. All right. Mu Chen looked suddenly serious and said, "I have seen the introduction of the hell-killing fields in ancient books. If you want to enter the hell, you must win 100 victories. In order to avoid the hell-killing fields, we must meet our own people. Every day after that, we signed up for the game one by one, and then we allowed another person to sign up for the game. Regarding Mu Chen's reasonable arrangements, Zhu Zhuqing, Dai Mubai, Ma Hongjun and others all nodded. No objection whatsoever, Mu Chen continued. In addition, we also need to represent our college to participate in the continent-wide Elite Soul Master competition jointly organized by the two empires and Wuhuan Palace. There is not much time left for us. Everyone must sign up for at least 3 competitions every day. In 3 games, one person needs to win 100 times. If we go quickly, it only takes a month for Mu Chen and the other 9 of them to be qualified to enter the road to hell. Naturally, Zhu Zhuqing and others would not protest against this reasonable arrangement. Okay, let's go in. Remember, kill anyone who threatens you. The city of killing needs everything, but it doesn't need mercy. Mu Chen warned solemnly again. Zhu Zhuqing and others nodded again. Meng Yiran looked at Mu Chen, looking left and right, pretending to examine Mu Chen's appearance carefully, and said, "Bad guy, do you know that you look very much like a human being like this now?" "Who?" Mu Chen asked curiously. Meng Yiran smiled and said, "Those old masters from the academy." "Old master?" Mu Chen secretly sighed, then shook his head and smiled bitterly. At this moment, the 9 Shrek monsters were walking towards the city with the open door in front of them. As for Xiao Wu, she still cowered beside Mu Chen and never walked to Tang San's side. And Mu Chen deliberately walked to the back of the team. Mu Chen whispered, "Did you see it?" Tang San stopped for a moment, then glanced at Xiao Wu and nodded slightly. Mu Chen said, "Xiao San, I don't care what you think in your heart. I just want to tell you that if anyone dares to hurt my Xiao Wu, I will definitely make him unable to live or die." When Tang San heard this, he smiled and said, "Boss Mu, you are kidding me. Xiao Wu and I have been together at Notting City Junior Soul Master Academy day and night for 6 years. What's more, you are still Tang San. As the reincarnation of old Master Lan, as a disciple of the Tang clan, even if I become the emperor, I will never do anything bad to Xiao Wu. I, Tang San, have said that I am a Tang clan member in life and a Tang clan ghost in death. Mr. Tang Lan. Tang sect?" Xiao Wu felt something in her heart and asked curiously in a low voice, "Brother, what is the mistress talking about?" This, Mu Chen touched the back of his head and asked him how to answer. Could it be that for Mu Chen to say that he was not the reincarnation of Mr. Tang Lan at all, what he said was completely deceiving Tang San? Tang San mistakenly believed that he was the reincarnation of old Master Tang Lan. You definitely can't say that. A person who runs errands for free does not use it in vain. Mu Chen had no choice but to pretend to be serious and change the subject. This is a long story to talk about. I will explain it to you in detail when I have time. My friends have already gone in, so let's go in quickly. Chapter 82 The Road to Hell, Part 1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding dong. Congratulations, you have triggered the hidden D-level hidden mission, and it is your duty to lead the whole audience. Lead the 8 of the Shrek 9 monsters through the road to hell and obtain the realm of the god of killing. The Shrek 9 monsters had just walked to the gate of the killing city, and a ripple appeared in the space around them. Welcome to the killing city. A charming and beautiful voice sounded beside the Shrek 9 monsters. 4 men and 5 women walked out of the void. The woman was beautiful and charming, with a fair face and long black eyelashes, which had some characteristics of Persian beauties. The man was dressed very gentlemanly, polite, and handsome. This is your token. The 4 men and 5 women handed their identity badges to the Shrek 9 monsters. Meng Yiran's number is 9520, Zhu Zhuqing's is 9521, Ning Rongrong's is 9522, Xiao Wu's is 9523, Dai Mubai's is 9524, Ma Hongjuan's is 9525, Oscar's is 9526, Mu Chen's is 9527, and Tang San's is 9528, 4 men and 5 women, facing the Shrek 9 monsters, then politely made a welcome gesture. Stepping into the city gate, the Shrek 9 monsters found that the smell of blood in the air was stronger. I am your guide. Within 12 hours, you are in the newcomer protection period. I will also answer all your questions. After 12 hours, you will officially become a member of the Slaughter City. In the guide's explanation, the Shrek 9 monsters finally understood. It turns out that the Slaughter City has been formed for thousands of years. Legend has it that it is a domain left by a powerful soul master after breaking through the 100th level. Here, the martial soul can be opened, and the soul power can be borrowed as a source of power. But the soul skills in the soul ring will be bound and cannot be used. Almost all soul masters are just ordinary people who are a little stronger here. The rule of the killing city is that there are no rules. The outer city is protected by the king of killing, and the inner city can kill at any time. At the same time, if you want to live in the outer city, you need to contribute twice the amount of Huangquan Du every day. If you live in the inner city, you will enjoy a higher life, but you will no longer be protected by the king of killing. In a sense, this is a paradise of sin. As long as you can survive and kill others, you can enjoy many pleasures that you can't enjoy outside and satisfy your inner desires. Once you enter the killing city, you can't get out of here unless you win 100 consecutive games in the Hell Killing Field and pass the Hell Road. The killing city is completely dominated by the king of killing. Things are just as Mu Chen said to them. The king of killing can use soul skills. And there is a law enforcement team here. The law enforcement team is composed of soul Douluos who are given the ability to use soul skills by the king of killing. Any evil person who wants to leave without permission is seeking his own destruction. At the same time, Daimubai, Xiao Wu and others learned that anyone who rushed out of the road to hell would be called the god of killing. However, in the past 1,000 years, only 8 gods of killing have appeared in the city of slaughter. It can be said that the success rate is very low. However, Daimubai, Xiao Wu and others looked at each other and smiled slightly. With Mu Chen accompanying them, are they still afraid of not being able to rush out of the road to hell? In the explanation of the tour guide, Daimubai, Xiao Wu and others learned that the Hell Killing Field is far more demanding than the Soto City Great Fighting Soul Field. Every battle will have 10 players. Once defeated, the end is death. As a winner, you can devour the soul power of the defeated. In addition, if you want to live freely in the inner city of the City of Slaughter, you can live in the inner city of the City of Slaughter for 1 year every time you win a victory in the Hell Killing Field. In a sense, the outer city needs to contribute 2 cups of Huangquan Du every day, and the inner city needs to win a victory in the Hell Killing Field once a year. People living here, whether you want to kill or not, you have to kill in order to survive. This may be the origin of the name of the killing city. Really, will you answer any questions? Mu Chen walked into the Hell Killing Field, looked at the tour guide beside him, and suddenly asked. Yes, I will answer any questions for you. Unless it is a question I don't know. Mu Chen's tour guide smiled. Are you still a virgin? Mu Chen asked. Duguian, Zhu Zhuqing, Ning Rongrong and Xiao Wu all looked at Mu Chen in astonishment. Among the 4 women, Xiao Wu was just slightly stunned. A fleeting look flashed in her eyes. In Xiao Wu's opinion, although she didn't mind Mu Chen having 3 wives and 4 concubines. However, those who can be sisters with her must have that strength. Obviously, Mu Chen's tour guide is not qualified to be sisters with her, Xiao Wu. As for Mu Chen's guide, he didn't look surprised at all. He touched Mu Chen's shoulder with his finger and said with a smile, I'm still a virgin now. Really? That the scene before them was beyond the understanding of Daimubai, Ma Hongjun, Tang San and Oscar. Mu Chen's guide actually agreed to sleep with Mu Chen. As guides, we have the obligation to serve you, including that aspect. Daimubai, Ma Hongjun, Tang San and Oscar's guides explained themselves. Mu Chen smiled, pointed at Ma Hongjun and said, okay, you serve him. Me? Ma Hongjun looked surprised that Mu Chen actually gave her his woman. Mu Chen nodded and said, you can quickly improve your soul power by doing things between men and women. Being a virgin is also the greatest benefit to you. Boss Mu. Ma Hongjun looked at Mu Chen with emotion and said, you are really my adopted parent. No matter what time, you will always be my boss Mu. Mu Chen smiled, looked at her guide and asked, is this okay? Mu Chen's guide nodded and asked, are you sure you want to give me to him? Without me by your side, you will need to bear the pressure from the city of slaughter in advance. Mu Chen nodded. Then, now your life and death is up to God. Mu Chen's guide walked to Ma Hongjuan's side. As for the guides of other people, they all asked about the guardians they needed to protect. The guide standing next to Zhu Zhuqing was moved by Zhu Zhuqing's appearance and said, if you have that need, I can satisfy you. I am still a novice now. Get lost. Zhu Zhuqing shouted coldly. Are you sure? Zhu Zhuqing's guide frowned slightly and looked at Zhu Zhuqing with a mocking look. In his opinion, without his protection, Zhu Zhuqing would not live long. I'm sure. Zhu Zhuqing continued to respond coldly, looking at Mu Chen with an intriguing look. As if afraid that Mu Chen would misunderstand, seeing Zhu Zhuqing's statement, Xiao Wu, Ning Rongrong and Dugu Yan, who liked Mu Chen, were also afraid that Mu Chen would misunderstand, and they shouted their guides away in unison. Oscar, Ma Hongjun and Dai Mubai did not refuse this benefit. Their guides are all beautiful. I just don't know if he is also a novice. As for Tang San, I don't know if he is not good at that aspect, and like Mu Chen, he refused the special service of his guide. Chapter 83 The Road to Hell, Part 2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the center of the hell-killing fields, there is a raised arena. From around the ring, large chains as thick as 10 legs extended, connecting the surrounding auditoriums. In the center of the ring and auditorium, there is magma hundreds of meters high. Standing on the edge of the ring and auditorium, you can see the red lava rolling below. Different from the past, this time 9 of the 10 people in the ring had soul powers of over 80 levels. They were clearly facing a teenage boy, but these 9 Contra-level players actually chose to join forces. Roar! The 9 Contras each summoned their own martial spirits, and their eyes stared at the young man who was finally in the ring. Are you joining forces? The corners of the young man's mouth were slightly raised, his eyes glanced at his opponent with disdain, and he said disdainfully, do you think that joining forces can prevent me from winning the 100th game? That if he were outside, Mu Chen would definitely not be a match for the 9 Contra-level opponents. However, this is a killing field. These soul Douluo cannot use soul skills, but he, Mu Chen, can call out. A Contra with a powerful Vajra Bear martial spirit took the lead in attacking Mu Chen. Xian level advanced fighting skills, Bajabang, boom boom boom. 3 dark energies erupted at the same time. Contra, who was the first to attack Mu Chen, was knocked away by Mu Chen with one punch and lay motionless on the ground. Don't be stunned, come together. I don't know who shouted this slogan, but others rushed forward and attacked Mu Chen. Call out. Not good. Not good. Not good. The expressions of the 8 soul Douluo who attacked Mu Chen changed drastically. Mu Chen took out 72 detonating charms in one breath. These detonating symbols were accurately divided into 9 and shot towards them. When the 9 detonating symbols flew to their side, Mu Chen gently shouted, explode. Rumble. 72 detonating talismans were detonated at the same time, and the explosive force generated caused the 8 Contras who wanted to retreat to be bloody, and died on the spot. Win. He really won too. In the past 6 months, number 9527 has become the 9th champion to win 100 consecutive victories. This has been unheard of and a strange thing that has never been seen before. Yes, 9. In the past 6 months, 9 Shura kings and hell messengers have been born who have won 100 consecutive games. The spectators around him were sighing, soul power plus 418,900 points. As the winner of the hell-killing fields, he can devour the soul power of the defeated. After absorbing the soul power of 9 Contras, Mu Chen's soul power increased by 418,900 points. Ding dong. Congratulations, you have accumulated enough soul power to upgrade. Current level, 59. The obtained soul power directly raised Mu Chen up a level, from level 58 to level 59. Yes, Mu Chen has participated in 100 games in the past 6 months. His cultivation level has also increased from level 50 before entering to level 59. In a sense, the hell-killing fields are also a great opportunity for soul masters. Of course, most of the soul power of the 9 soul masters in the Contra realm were absorbed by the hell-killing fields. Otherwise, Mu Chen's level improvement would definitely be more than level 1. Buzz, suddenly, the surrounding space shook violently. Countless bats and red light began to gather toward the center, forming a vortex. A 2-meter-tall figure with a pair of bat wings walked out of the whirlpool. "Congratulations, the new King Shura." A cold and indifferent voice floated out from the figure's mouth. "The King of Killing. The King of Killing. The King of Killing." As the man with bat wings appeared, the villains in the audience looked extremely respectful and shouted the name of the King of Slaughter. "Invite other Hell Messengers and King Shura." A voice fell, and Dai Mubai, Zhu Zhuqing, Ma Hongjun, Oscar, Ning Rongrong, Tang San, Xiao Wu, and Meng Yiran walked to the ring together. "Brother, congratulations." Xiao Wu congratulated you. "Boss Mu, congratulations." Mu Chen, congratulations. The other members of the Shrek 9 monsters congratulated Mu Chen one after another. "Thank you." Mu Chen smiled and glanced at his friends around him. Since entering the killing city, Mu Chen and others have also drank Huang Quan Du. Fortunately, Mu Chen asked Tang San to run errands in advance and prepare detoxification pills, so the 9 of them were not affected by the poisonous poison in Huang Quan Du. Today, 2 more powerful men were born on the killing field. Their powerful strength and terrifying murderous intent make you tremble, don't they? Asked the King of Slaughter. Yes, yes, yes. The audience in the auditorium was extremely excited. 9 messengers of hell and King Shura, I have decided to grant you the title of God of Killing. I also invite you as guest ministers. In this city of killing, your status is second only to me. From now on, you can freely enter and leave the city of killing. The King of Killing said, "What? Can you get the title of God of Killing without going to hell?" "No, the King of Killing is preventing us from obtaining the God of Killing domain." Facing the King of Slaughter, the 9 Shrek monsters looked at each other. Mu Chen stepped forward and said, "King of Slaughter, please open the door to hell. We are willing to rely on our own strength to obtain the title of God of Killing." The King of Slaughter looked at the other members of the Shrek 9 devils and saw them nodding. He said, "It seems that you don't know how terrible the road to hell is. King Shura, I hope you can understand that people only have one life." Mu Chen listened and said with a smile, "Great King of Slaughter, you are talking to me about life, are you sure you are not joking? We appreciate your kindness, and we are willing to enter the road to hell together. Please open the door to the road to hell." The King of Slaughter glanced at Dai Mubai, Meng Yiran and others again, and saw them nodding, and said, "In this case, it is also a good thing to have someone accompany you on the road to hell. Then I will open the road to hell for you." Swoosh, the King of Slaughter moved his mind, spread his bat wings, and his soul power surged, and the entire hell-killing field began to tremble. The gate of the road to hell. I have been here for 10 years, and finally I can see the gate of the road to hell. Even if I cannot enter the road to hell in my lifetime, it is worth it to see the gate of the road to hell. The audience in the audience was very excited. They shouted the gate of hell one by one. Mu Chen sighed slightly. These evil people probably don't know that no one has ever seen the opening of the road to hell. Because, except for the 8 killing gods who walked out, all the people who have seen it have become sacrifices for the opening of the road to hell. Buzz, sure enough, a red light curtain emerged from the edge of the ring of the hell-killing field and began to spread around. Wherever the light curtain passed, the evil people were immediately drained of their soul power and blood, and their vitality was gone, turning into a pile of black powder. The scene in the field was very mysterious. At the same time, the ring where Mu Chen and the other 9 people stood began to appear very complex runes. After a while, a large vortex appeared under their feet. A terrifying suction force was born from the vortex, as if a pair of ghost hands were pulling their feet and dragging them down to hell. At the same time, the dazzling light made Mu Chen and others unable to open their eyes. In their ears, only the voice of the King of Killing lingered. Good luck to you. Chapter 84 Boss Mu, I was wrong. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In a daze, Mu Chen felt that he was lying on something soft. The comfortable feeling made him turn over habitually. He just felt that his hand seemed to have grabbed something. Subconsciously, Mu Chen pinched it. That thing was very elastic, like a balloon. Balloon? Mu Chen's heart was shocked and he couldn't help but open his eyes. Soul power plus 332. Soul power plus 333. Soul power plus 360. Mu Chen was stunned. He was still wondering how he could gain soul power by sleeping. When he opened his eyes, he finally knew the reason. It turned out that Mu Chen actually rested his head on Zhu Zhuqing's abdomen. As for his hand, it was naturally, Mu Chen's mind was blank, and he didn't know how to explain the scene in front of him. Zhu Zhuqing was also lying on the ground, looking down at Mu Chen with a dull look. The four looked at each other, and the atmosphere in the field became a little ambiguous. Why don't you let me go? Zhu Zhuqing looked shy and looked at Mu Chen's hand. Mu Chen smiled awkwardly and stood up from the ground. Looking around, he noticed that not only him, but also his companions were all lying on the ground. At this time, they were on a high platform. After a while, Dai Mubai, Ning Rongrong, Meng Yiran, Xiao Wu and others woke up one after another. Brother, where are we? Xiao Wu asked. This should be the starting point of the road to hell. Mu Chen replied. In front of Mu Chen, Xiao Wu and others, there was a bridge passage that could not be seen at the end. Under the bridge passage was a large red Huangquan dew lake. Yellow spring dew. Tang San frowned and said, there is so much yellow spring dew here. It is not an exaggeration to call it yellow spring. The soul power and blood of the losers in the slaughter city over the past 1,000 years have condensed into such a large lake. Dai Mubai was also thoughtful and said, it seems that the Hell Road is the core of the slaughter city. Or, it is the source of the slaughter city. Tang San nodded in agreement and said, if it is destroyed, it will cause a huge blow to the entire slaughter city. Speaking of which, this ghost place, the slaughter city, should not exist. Mu Chen heard it and felt a sense of relief. In the original storyline, when Tang San passed through the Hell Road, he threw a snow swan kiss into this yellow spring. As a result, the chronic poison in the yellow spring dew became an acute poison that could not be cured. In his previous life, Tang San lived in the Tang sect. He had no experience of the dangers of the world. He was like an innocent child. He simply had the concept of good and evil. In this life, Tang San is still inexperienced and still has such simple ideas. Forgive him, after all, his mind is still that of a child. But Tang San didn't know that after he destroyed the slaughter city and the spirit hall, the evil spirit master brought disaster to the continent. Now that Mu Chen has come to Douluo continent, he must subvert these wrong storylines. Mu Chen scolded, Tang San, you are wrong. If you say so, should all the evil people in the world be beaten to death? Even the prison in the outside world has no need to exist. Tang San was stunned, and he couldn't refute Mu Chen's words. Mu Chen continued, where there is light, there will be darkness. You can't prevent bad people from appearing, you can only guide them to be good. Even bad people who make mistakes should be given a chance to reform. The slaughter city is like a prison, giving these bad people the last glimmer of hope. Once the slaughter city is gone to restrain and accommodate evil spirit masters, the impact on the outside world will be disastrous. Do you understand? Tang San nodded in agreement. He didn't dare to disobey Mu Chen's order, and said with a fist, yes, Boss Mu, Tang San understands. Xiao Wu suddenly looked at Zhu Zhuqing and asked, Zhuqing, why is your face so red? Xiao Wu didn't say anything, but Zhu Zhuqing's face turned even redder. Zhu Zhuqing's eyes glanced at Mu Chen, who had done something bad, intentionally or unintentionally. Brother, Xiao Wu looked at Mu Chen with a surprised tone. Intuition told Xiao Wu that when she was unconscious, something important must have happened between Zhu Zhuqing and her brother Mu Chen. As for Mu Chen, he looked at his palm proudly, like a general seeking credit. Such an action made Zhu Zhuqing's face even redder. She wanted to go up and slap Mu Chen hard. Mu Chen, thank you. Meng Yiran said gratefully, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't have won the 100-game championship in the hell-killing field. Mu Chen smiled and said, it's too early to thank me now. Let's talk about it after I take you through the Hell Road. Where should we go? Meng Yiran asked. Down below. Mu Chen said. Down below. Tang San protested upon hearing this, the yellow spring below is highly poisonous. If we go all the way down, we will most likely need to cross a section submerged by the yellow spring dew. My suggestion is to go up. Boss Mu, I also suggest going up. Yes, Boss Mu, only by going up can we stay away from the yellow spring below. Boss Mu, I agree with their suggestions. When we came in, we went all the way down. Now we should go up when we go out. Tang San's suggestion was unanimously recognized by others. Even Zhu Zhuqing and Ning Rongrong nodded in agreement. Mu Chen looked at Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu smiled and said, I will go wherever brother goes. Mu Chen smiled slightly and touched Xiao Wu's head. Looking at the people around him, Mu Chen was familiar with Douluo's storyline, but he knew that no matter whether they went up or down, they would eventually have to pass through a section of road that was submerged by the underworld. Moreover, the exit of the road to hell does not just go all the way up. It was just that his companions believed what he was thinking, so Mu Chen smiled and said, okay, it's up to you. As they moved forward, even as they walked all the way up, the group still felt that it was getting hotter and hotter. What's going on? Why does it get hotter and hotter even though we are walking upward? Are we getting closer to the underworld below? No, we are obviously walking upward. How come we are getting closer to the underworld below? Dai Mubai, Zhu Zhuqing and others were puzzled. They all looked at Mu Chen. Tang San instead speculated, if my guess is good, it looks like we are going upwards, but in fact we are going downhill. Since the slope is very small, it is not so obvious to your naked eyes. So, Boss Mu is not wrong. No matter whether you are going up or down, you are going down in the end. Dai Mubai looked at Mu Chen, slightly surprised. Mu Chen looked very calm and was not shocked at all. Boss Mu, I was wrong. Ma Hongjun was the first to express his position. From now on, Ma Hongjun, will never question any of your orders and decisions. Mu Chen smiled and didn't take it to heart. Along the way, there are more and more skeletons, all left by people who failed to break through. After walking, the 9 Shrek monsters finally faced the first challenge on the road to hell. Chapter 85 King of Killing, this is simply cheating. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chi chi chi. Suddenly, a series of sharp screams broke the tranquility of Hell Road. Everyone stand together. Fatty, I'll go first and you'll take the lead. Others stand in the middle and try not to use the detonating talisman. Whenever there are bats approaching, kill them all. Do you understand? Mu Chen asked. Dai Mubai, Zhu Zhuqing, Ma Hongjun, Oscar, Ning Rongrong and others nodded. After a while, hundreds of bloodthirsty bats came to Mu Chen and others. However, they were not in a hurry to attack, as if they had the ability to think, looking for weaknesses in Mu Chen and others. Grumbled. A larger bat screamed, and the surrounding bats lost their patience and swarmed towards Mu Chen and others. Fire release, fireball technique, fire release, fireball technique. This is already the road to hell, and soul skills can be used here. Mu Chen and Ma Hongjun made seals with their fingers, and spit out blazing fire from their mouths, burning the bloodthirsty bats that attacked them. Even if there were bloodthirsty bats that failed, in the end, Tang San, Dai Mubai and others used Tang's sect hidden weapons to kill them one by one. After the situation lasted for a while, the bloodthirsty bats' attack failed. They had mutated and chose to retreat temporarily. Run away. Xiao Wu and others looked surprised. Let's go, let's retreat early before they attack. Mu Chen said calmly. As they continued to advance, Mu Chen and others ushered in the second level. A huge bat that could reach a length of 30 meters with its wings extended blocked their way. The bat has 3 heads, a ferocious face, and its claws emit a breathtaking silver light. Being familiar with Douluo's storyline, Mu Chen knew that the soul beast in front of him was difficult to deal with and had the ability to repair itself. If all three of his heads cannot be cut off at the same time, it can continue to regenerate forever. And every time it is regenerated, its combat effectiveness will become stronger. Since he is familiar with this important storyline and knows the flaws of this soul beast, Mu Chen will naturally not give the other party a chance to regenerate, call out. With a thought, Mu Chen took out more than 100 detonating talismans from the ring's soul guide. With a wave of his hand, all the detonating symbols floated towards the three bloodthirsty Bat Kings. Burst, boom, hundreds of blasts of thunder sounded. The poor three-headed bloodthirsty Bat King didn't understand what those talismans with the word explosion on it were, and all three of its heads were blown to pieces. Past. Xiao Wu said in surprise. Of course, it doesn't matter who I am, your brother. Mu Chen smiled proudly. Boss Mu, why don't you take a rest? Tang San suggested. Yes, Boss Mu, I don't know what I will face later. Ning Rongrong also advised with concern. No need. We haven't lost much soul power along the way. What's more, Oscar is still here. What are you afraid of? Let's go. If we get out of here early, we can make the Dean and the others worry less. Mu Chen said lightly. Tang San, Ning Rongrong and others did not insist on Mu Chen's proposal. Continue walking forward. As he continued to move forward, the temperature in the air became higher and higher, and Mu Chen was just a man. Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, Xiao Wu and Meng Yiran, as women, their sweat-soaked clothes stuck to their bodies, perfectly showing off their convex and concave figures. Wow! Ma Hongjuan's eyes widened at the sight of sex, and he glanced hard at Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, Xiao Wu and Meng Yiran. Snap! Just as Ma Hongjun made a sound in surprise, someone knocked him on the head. Ma Hongjun looked at Dai Mubai in pain and asked, "Why did you hit me?" Dai Mubai glared at Ma Hongjun and said, "They are all Boss Mu's women. Don't you want that thing from your boy?" Boss Mu? Ma Hongjun looked at Mu Chen, who happened to be looking at him at this time. Ma Hongjun was frightened and shivered all over. He covered his lower gear with both hands and quickly looked away from Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, Xiao Wu and Meng Yiran. That look seemed to say, "I didn't see anything, I definitely didn't see anything." Swish swish. At this moment, there was the sound of something rubbing on the ground. Purple demonic eyes, Sharingan, Tang San and Mu Chen's eyes immediately turned purple and red respectively. They could see that under the stone pillar below them, there was a very long thing, wrapping around the stone pillar, climbing up, and approaching them. Tang San frowned and exclaimed, "Something is approaching, everyone, be careful." "Oscar, flying mushroom." Mu Chen called. "Clear." Oscar understood it, and with a thought, he muttered, "I have a mushroom sausage." Call out. Oscar created 9 flying mushrooms in one breath and threw them at everyone around him. Xiao Wu, Ning Rongrong and others did not hesitate and swallowed the ugly mushroom into their stomachs 3 times. After a while, Xiao Wu, Dai Mubai, Zhu Zhuqing, Ma Hongjun, Ning Rongrong, Oscar, Tang San, and Meng Yiran, energy condensed into blue transparent wings as thin as cicada wings behind them. Their backs shook slightly and they all flew into the air. Roar. Until then, the soul beast opened its huge mouth and wanted to devour them, but it failed. What is this? Xiao Wu looked at the monster in front of her. Even if she was a 100,000-year-old soul beast, she still couldn't tell what kind of soul beast this big guy in front of her was. It looks like a snake. There are 9 protrusions in total on the head and back. Each protrusion is like a bright red mushroom, and the naked eye can even see blood flowing inside. Its abdomen is particularly huge and its length exceeds 10 meters. He kept spitting out snake letters, his golden red eyes as bright as lanterns. 10-headed blazing sun snakes. 10-headed blazing sun snakes. Mu Chen and Tang San answered in unison. The former's eyes were calm, while the latter's expression was doubtful. The latter was wondering in his heart, how could the ancient beasts that originally belonged to the Chinese plane appear in this plane? Being familiar with Douluo's storyline, Mu Chen knew that the 10-headed blazing sun snake in front of him had a powerful trump card. It can spray out the inner elixir, and used the inner elixir to burst out a powerful attack that even Haotian Douluo Tang Hao was afraid of at the time. In the original storyline, Tang San relied on the clear sky hammer to cut off the connection between the inner elixir and its physical body, and then luckily killed 10 blazing sun snakes. Since he knew so much about the 10-headed fierce sun snake, Mu Chen would naturally not give the 10-headed fierce sun snake a chance to reveal his trump card. Take out all the detonating talismans on your body and attack the 9 protrusions on its back. Those are the only vital points on its body. Mu Chen ordered. 8 of the 9 Shrek monsters took out the remaining detonating talismans in their respective soul guides. Good guy. Now the total number of detonating talismans left by the 9 Shrek monsters exceeds 8,000. Spread. Mu Chen gave the order, and the others flapped their wings and stood on their side. Attack. As Mu Chen finished speaking, Dai Mubai, Zhu Zhuqing, Xiao Wu and others all threw the detonating talismans wrapped in daggers at the 10 blazing sun snakes. Burst! 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 Mu Chen, Dai Mubai, Zhu Zhuqing, Xiao Wu, Ning Rongrong, Oscar, Ma Hongjun, Tang San, and Meng Yiran all spoke in unison, using their mental power to detonate their respective detonating symbols at the same time. Rumble. An earth-shattering sound sounded in this strange space. More than 8,000 detonating symbols, and the shock wave generated by the explosion swept around. When all the dust settled, the light in the fiery red eyes of the 10-headed blazing sun snake began to dim. Immediately, the huge bodies of the 10-headed blazing sun snakes fell towards the underworld below. The poor 10-headed blazing sun snake was killed by more than 8,000 detonating talismans without using any tricks. Hateful. The king of slaughter looked at the mirror projection from the road to hell in front of him and said viciously, to pass the road to hell so easily, this is simply cheating. No matter how unhappy the king of slaughter was, he could only watch helplessly as the 9 people flew into a golden whirlpool and easily left the road to hell known as a narrow escape. Chapter 86 God-Given Soul Ring. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Now that we're out, the air outside is still fresh. Mu Chen breathed heavily. At this time, the 9 Shrek monsters were standing on an altar. In front of them was an endless forest. The clear air refreshed their spirits after surviving in the killing city for 3 months. If Mu Chen and the others were not too perverted, many people would not dare to sign up for the competition. Otherwise, it would not take them 3 months to qualify for the road to hell. Boss Mu, thank you. Tang San looked at Mu Chen gratefully. Boss Mu, thank you. Boss, thank you. Bad guy, thank you. Brother, thank you. Dai Mubai, Ma Hongjun, Zhu Zhuqing, Ning Rongrong, Oscar, Xiao Wu and Meng Yiran all thanked Mu Chen. This time they entered the killing city, which ranked first on the list of the top 10 most dangerous places in the mainland, and they actually passed it like this. And their martial souls were given a realm that countless soul masters dreamed of, the god of death realm. Recalling what happened in the killing city, Dai Mubai, Ma Hongjun, Zhu Zhuqing, Ning Rongrong, Oscar, Xiao Wu, and Meng Yiran looked at each other and could capture the joy in each other's hearts. They deeply understood that they were able to obtain the killing god domain only because of Mu Chen's influence. Mu Chen smiled and said modestly, I just did what I should do, and you are all my partners. Ding dong. Congratulations, you completed the mission, helped 8 of the 9 Shrek monsters, and obtained the killing god domain. Rewarded skill points, 10 points, rewarded soul power, 500,000 points. Obtained skill, Susanu. Rewarded special items, Junior Fusion Card, 1 piece. Special reward, 20x double card. Elementary Fusion Cards. Fusion cards are divided into 4 levels, elementary, intermediate, advanced, and ultimate. The primary fusion card can fuse and upgrade combat skills and techniques below immortal magic, emperor-level fighting skills. Susanu, a combat skill from the Hokage plane, divided into 5 forms, primary, first, second, third, fourth and complete. Prerequisites for use, you need to obtain the Mangekyo Sharingan. Ding dong. The system has detected that the host has a 20-fold card. Whether to use the card will increase the rewards obtained in this mission 20 times. Not twice. Not 10 times. This time it can actually explode 20 times. 500,000 points of soul power, if it explodes 20 times. Quack, quack, isn't that 10 million points of soul power? Hoo hoo hoo, Mu Chen gasped for air, his eyes opened wider than copper coins. How many levels can 10 million points of soul power allow him to soar to? Hoo hoo hoo, Mu Chen is very good at mathematics, but even with his brain he can't do the math at this time. It is worth mentioning that Mu Chen was facing Xiao Wu at this time. Xiao Wu noticed Mu Chen's extremely fiery gaze, her expression was startled for a moment, and her rabbit ears stood up. With deep thoughts in his heart, Mu Chen's eyes looked like he wanted to eat her. Xiao Wu noticed the companions around him, followed Mu Chen's gaze, and looked at Xiao Wu as well. Xiao Wu's face instantly turned red, and she whispered shyly, "Brother, what are you looking at?" Mu Chen looked at Xiao Wu in shock, knowing that the latter had misunderstood. Ding dong. The system has detected that the host has a 20-fold card. Do you want to use the card to increase the rewards obtained in this mission by 20 times? Use. Mu Chen said without any worries. How many levels can 10 million soul power take him to? Mu Chen's heart was full of expectations. As his inner voice fell, a terrifying torrent of energy flowed out of the system in his mind, as if it was about to burst his body. Ding dong. Congratulations, you used the 20-fold card. The rewards obtained in this mission have been doubled by 20 times. Finally, you obtained skill points, 200 points, obtained soul power, 10 million points, and obtained items, primary fusion cards, 20 pieces, obtained combat skills, Susanu. Ding dong. Congratulations, you have upgraded your soul power by 13 levels. Your current level is 72-16000/1030050. I have been promoted to 13 levels in a row. As long as I get 2 more divine rings, I will be a level 72 soul saint. Mu Chen laughed in his heart. Is this just the end of the matter? The answer is obviously no. Buzz, suddenly, a strong energy ripple appeared around Mu Chen. Regarding the road to hell and the realm of killing gods, Mu Chen still has a divine test, the third test of the Chaos God test. Enter the city of killing, pass through the road to hell, and obtain the killing god domain. Ding dong. Congratulations, you have completed the third test of the Chaos God test. You entered the city of killing, passed the road to hell, and obtained the god of killing domain. You will be rewarded with a God-given soul ring. God-given soul ring. Mu Chen's eyes widened and he was overjoyed. Just now I was thinking about hunting down spirit beasts to obtain spirit rings, but now I actually received a God-given spirit ring as a reward. Being familiar with Douluo's storyline, Mu Chen knew that the lucky ones who passed the divine examination would have a chance to obtain the divine soul ring. The lifespan of a God-given soul ring is not fixed, and neither are its skills. The age of the soul ring that can be obtained depends entirely on the individual's ability to bear it. In addition, the soul skills obtained are also the most suitable for the lucky ones to take the divine examination. Buzz, the powerful energy fluctuations made Dai Mubai and others frown. Their faces changed drastically, and they were very surprised by the sudden fluctuations. What's going on? The energy fluctuations are coming from Boss Mu. What happened to Boss Mu? Dai Mubai, Zhu Zhuqing, Ma Hongjun, Oscar, Ning Rongrong, Meng Yiran, Xiao Wu, and Tang San all stared at Mu Chen nervously. Purple demon eye. Tang San's pupils turned purple at the first moment. Relying on the second realm of the purple demon eye, subtle, he was surprised to find that the soul power aura on Mu Chen's body became very terrifying. Facing Mu Chen at this time, Tang San had the illusion of facing Flanders and Zhao Wuji, soul saint. 2 words representing powerful appeared in Tang San's mind. Although he couldn't see through Mu Chen's cultivation at his current realm. But he could vaguely feel that Mu Chen's aura was not much different from that of the 2 teachers, Flanders and Zhao Wuji. So Tang San speculated that Mu Chen's level should have reached the realm of Soul Saint. Brother, Xiao Wu frowned and stepped forward anxiously. Fortunately, She was stopped by Tang San in time. Tang San said, "Sister Xiao Wu, if you rush up now, you will only hurt him." Xiao Wu frowned and said anxiously, "Xiao San, can you tell what happened to my brother?" Tang San shook his head slightly and said, "I can't see what's going on. But before we know the situation, don't move. Boss Mu's strength is above each of us, I believe he will be fine." Tang San comforted her like this, but Xiao Wu's eyebrows were still not raised. Even Zhu Zhuqing, Ning Rongrong and Meng Yiran were nervously looking at Mu Chen, who was meditating with his eyes closed. In the hearts of Zhu Zhuqing, Ning Rongrong and Meng Yiran, it seems that they don't want Mu Chen, who has taken advantage of them many times, to have any harm. Chapter 87, The Next Training Plan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Buzz, the energy ripples around Mu Chen condensed into a halo. The halo shrank rapidly and hit Mu Chen's body. Bang! As a collision sounded, the energy in the surrounding space began to surge and condensed into a halo again. This time, there were 2 halos of light striking towards Mu Chen's body. After the halo hit Mu Chen, there were 3 more. Then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, when the 10th halo just took shape, all the lights merged into one. The energy contained in the fused halo is 10 times that of any previous halo. Then, the halo that merged into one hit Mu Chen's body again. After a collision, the number of halos changed from 1 to 2, and the cycle repeats. Every time the halo hits, Mu Chen's body will move. As time passed, Mu Chen's facial features began to become painfully distorted. When 2 become 10, 10 become 1, 1 becomes 10, 10 become 1, 1 becomes 10, and 10 merge into 1. Mu Chen's hands squeezed out blood from his palms. A trace of blood overflowed from Mu Chen's body. Mu Chen couldn't bear it anymore. The halo that finally merged began to absorb the energy in the surrounding space. Looking at its final shape, Xiao Wu, Zhu Zhuqing, Ning Rongrong, Meng Yiran and others' eyes were dull, and they were about to turn to stone on the spot. Soul Ring. Soul Ring. Soul Ring. The word Soul Ring blurted out from the mouths of Xiao Wu, Zhu Zhuqing, Ning Rongrong, Meng Yiran and others. The mysterious halo before finally formed a soul ring that they were very familiar with. It turns out that the boss is absorbing the soul ring. Ma Hongjun breathed a sigh of relief, and his tense nerves relaxed. That's wrong, Tang San questioned. Soul masters can only obtain the soul rings they need by killing soul beasts. We haven't killed soul beasts at this time. Where did Boss Mu get the soul rings? Could it be? Could it be? Could it be? Could it be? Tang San, Dai Mubai, Ning Rongrong and others looked at each other. Then they blurted out in unison. He is not human. He is not human. He is not human. The eyes of Tang San, Dai Mubai, Ning Rongrong and others were wide open, and Zhu Zhuqing's cat's tail was raised straight in fright. Regarding the scene in front of them that they could not explain, I am afraid that Mu Chen was the only one who was not a human, but a soul beast, so he was able to obtain the soul ring he needed without killing the soul beast. Xiao Wu's expression darkened, her rabbit ears stood up, and she looked at her companions around her with alert eyes, her sleeve arrows ready to be fired at any time. What do you want? Ning Rongrong, who was clearly being mistreated by Mu Chen and had taken a lot of advantage, stood in front of Mu Chen after knowing Mu Chen's identity, looked at his partners in front of him, and reminded him, don't forget, you can acquiring self-created soul skills and obtaining the killing god realm are all thanks to his blessing. Seeing this, Zhu Zhuqing also stood beside Ning Rongrong and reminded, he is your boss Mu. Seeing Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing expressing their opinions one after another, Meng Yiran, who had a crush on Mu Chen, also walked to Ning Rongrong's side. The silence and vigilant eyes had already explained the battlefield she was in at this time. As soul masters, Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing and Meng Yiran knew how irresistible the soul ring possessed by a soul beast in human form was to soul masters. As for Xiao Wu, she turned her head and looked at the 3 sisters beside her, her eyes filled with relief. Xiao Wu was secretly happy for her brother Mu Chen, and it was not in vain for Fei Mu Chen to take so much trouble to guide them. Ma Hongjun smiled bitterly and said, what's going on with you 3? Dai Mubai also expressed his position. Yes, what do you think of us? Oscar put his hand on Dai Mubai's shoulder and said with a smile, that's right, he is our boss Mu. Without him, we would not be the same as before. Even if Boss Mu is not a human being, what can we do to him? Did he take action? Tang San also smiled silently, and said jokingly, you three, you are so protective of Boss Mu. Could it be that you have fallen in love with him? Well. Zhu Zhuqing, Ning Rongrong and Meng Yiran looked stunned for a moment, then looked at each other, their faces turning red. He has given me guidance and helped me obtain the god of killing domain. He is my benefactor. Don't think wrongly. Meng Yiran hesitated and explained anxiously. Is it really just a favor without any love between men and women? Ma Hongjun asked jokingly, raising an eyebrow slightly. Yes, Iran. Don't forget, when we were in the Star Do forest, you kissed Boss Mu. Oscar, who was worried about the world being in chaos, put his arm on Ma Hongjun's shoulder affectionately and looked at Meng Yiran. Teasing the latter. That's just my willingness to admit defeat. Yes, I'm just willing to accept defeat. Don't think wrongly. Meng Yiran defended anxiously, his face getting darker and darker, and his face became even redder. Do you two want me to arrange devil training for you? How dare you make fun of EE? A familiar voice sounded beside them. Everyone looked out and saw that Mu Chen had woken up. Oscar and Ma Hongjun were stunned and looked at each other. Devil training? Devil training? Oscar shuddered as he thought about the ruthless torture Zhao Wuji had endured while practicing Bajibang. How terrifying it must be to be defined as a devilish training by his boss Mu. Oscar didn't even dare to think about it, and hurriedly said, Boss Mu, I'm just joking, don't take it seriously. But what happened to you just now? How can you get a soul ring without killing a soul beast? Ma Hongjun's eyes lit up, and he cleverly changed the subject and said, I heard that only soul beasts that have transformed into human form do not need to kill soul beasts to get soul rings. Are you not a human, Boss Mu? Mu Chen glared at Ma Hongjun and scolded him, you are not a human. The abnormal movement around me just now was just because I got a God-given soul ring. God-given soul ring? Ma Hongjun was stunned and asked, Boss Mu, are you talking about God? Mu Chen nodded. Ma Hongjun was surprised and asked, Boss Mu, are there gods in this world? Mu Chen replied, of course there are. There are mortals, there are soul masters, and naturally there are gods. God-given soul ring? Tang San murmured to himself, looking at Mu Chen, full of doubts, and asked, what is a God-given soul ring? How can I get it? Mu Chen looked at Tang San, who could become the god of the sea in the future, and said lightly, it's not the time to tell you about the gods. When I can tell you, I will tell you. Swish, suddenly, a sound of breaking wind sounded. I saw a black shadow leaping down from the mountain wall and rushing towards Zhu Zhuqing. Swish, Tang San was quick-eyed and quick-handed, took out the Zhuge God crossbow, pulled the trigger, and shot the black shadow. It was a wolf, however. When Tang San just shot the wolf, Tang San's pupils turned red, and Zhu Zhuqing's pupils also turned red. Especially Zhu Zhuqing, even though the wolf was shot dead by Tang San, she still attacked the other party. Second soul skill, Netherworld 100 Claws. After a while, the wolf, which had been attacked by Zhu Zhuqing hundreds of times, was strangled by Zhu Zhuqing's claws and was bloody and frightening to the touch. Even the internal organs were all over the floor. Zhuqing, you. Ning Rongrong looked at Zhu Zhuqing in confusion. The wolf was obviously dead, but Zhu Zhuqing was still so cruel that she didn't even let go of its corpse. Zhu Zhuqing was stunned and explained, I don't know what happened just now. My murderous aura seemed to be out of control, and an evil thought was driving me. How could this happen? Ning Rongrong, Dai Mubai and others asked with doubt and confusion. I also had such an impulse just now, and seemed to be eager to fight and kill. Tang San also replied. Hearing Tang San's words, Ning Rongrong, Dai Mubai and others were stunned. Ding dong. Congratulations, you have triggered a hidden mission. Be a good person to the end, and help Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, Meng Yiran, Xiao Wu, Ma Hongjun, Dai Mubai, Oscar, and Tang San to control the murderous aura in their bodies and completely control the realm of the god of killing. Let's go. Mu Chen said lightly, this will be the training you need to complete next. Chapter 88 Yuexuan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Tiando Empire, Tiando City. Walking on the street, Mu Chen led the way, and Xiao Wu held his arm affectionately. Behind him followed Meng Yiran, Zhu Zhuqing, Ning Rongrong, Dai Mubai, Ma Hongjun, Oscar, and Tang San. Boss Mu, where are you taking us? Ma Hongjun, who was the most impatient, couldn't help asking Mu Chen again. Look, it's here. Mu Chen pointed to a building that looked very high-end at the end of their square. The building stood out in this square. Within 500 meters, there were no other buildings in Tiando City, where every inch of land was worth a lot of money, which was enough to show the extraordinariness of the place in front of him. Is that Yuexuan? Ning Rongrong said in surprise, as the eldest daughter of the Seven Treasures Glazed sect. Ning Rongrong's sect was just outside Tiando City. Ning Rongrong had been to this capital of the Tiando Empire several times and recognized the building in front of her at a glance. Rongrong, what is Yuexuan? Xiao Wu asked curiously. Yuexuan is a place where nobles of the Tiando Empire learn court etiquette. Ning Rongrong answered, looking at Mu Chen, not understanding why Mu Chen brought them to this place for training. Could it be that Mu Chen wanted them to learn the etiquette of the nobles? Learn etiquette. After hearing Ning Rongrong's explanation, Zhu Zhuqing, Dai Mubai and others turned to look at Mu Chen in confusion. Especially Zhu Zhuqing and Dai Mubai, they were originally children of nobles and did not need to learn the etiquette of nobles. Don't doubt it. That's where you will train next. Mu Chen smiled. Boss Mu, I don't understand. I want to become stronger. Can the etiquette of nobles make me stronger? Dai Mubai questioned. Why not? Being good at communication is also a skill. If used well, it can produce an effect that cannot be ignored. Your aura is leaking now, and the urgent thing now is to learn how to hide yourself in the Soul Master world and control your murderous aura. Mu Chen replied. Can etiquette help us control our murderous aura? Dai Mubai looked at Mu Chen questioningly. Mu Chen smiled and did not explain, leading them all the way to the gate of Yuexuan. Stop. Only nobles are allowed to enter here, and servants are not allowed to enter. When Mu Chen and others were about to enter Yuexuan, the two people guarding the door stopped Mu Chen. Mu Chen's eyes flashed, and his murderous aura was exposed. The cold breath made the two guards shudder. One of the guards retreated in fear all the way to the back, probably looking for help. Mu Chen took a deep breath and calmed down his inner mood. Not only the companions around him, but even he now, could not control his own murderous aura. Although he had only stayed in the City of Slaughter for 3 months, Mu Chen would always subconsciously reveal his murderous aura to the offender and wanted to kill the other party. Not only Mu Chen, but even Dai Mubai, Zhu Zhuqing, Xiao Wu and others also calmed down and put away the murderous aura that leaked out. Frightened by the murderous aura of Mu Chen and others, the guard trembled and dared not stop Mu Chen. When Mu Chen and his companions came to the hall, they found that there were many ladies and gentlemen with good looks, happily communicating. Deputy Manager Aowei, they are the ones who broke into our Yuexuan. The guard who was scared away by Mu Chen and his companions pointed at Mu Chen and his companions and spoke to a middle-aged man beside him respectfully. The middle-aged man had a square face, dressed in a gorgeous robe, with his hands behind his back, polite and showing the temperament of an aristocrat. He glanced at the 9 children in front of him, and his eyes flashed with surprise. The 9 children standing in front of him actually had soul power that did not match their age. Especially the young man in the lead, the level of soul power was so high that even he, the soul saint, could not see through it. Monster. This was the first impression of Deputy Manager Aowei on the 9 young men in front of him. Yuexuan is a place where nobles learn etiquette themselves. Commoners are not qualified to enter here. Deputy General Manager Aowei said lightly. Are you sure? Mu Chen asked contemptuously. Deputy General Manager Yao Wei nodded. Are you really sure? Mu Chen waved his hand and threw a bag of gold soul coins on the ground. I'm sure. Deputy General Manager Yao Wei continued. Are you really sure? Mu Chen moved his mind and took out twice the gold soul coins. At this time, the gold soul coins thrown on the ground by Mu Chen reached 300,000. 300,000 gold soul coins are enough to be called nouveau riche. Even some viscounts have never had so much wealth. You are insulting Yuexuan. Deputy General Manager Yao Wei said coldly. Really? Mu Chen smiled and moved his mind. This time, he took out 10 bags of gold soul coins. Now, the gold soul coins on the ground are 1.3 million. Humph. Do you think you're great just because you have some dirty money? Deputy Manager Yao Wei snorted coldly, wondering in his heart what Mu Chen's background was. He could actually take out more than 1 million gold soul coins. Are you sure this is dirty money? Mu Chen laughed, and took out 10 bags of gold soul coins and threw them at Deputy Manager Yao Wei in front of him. You are so presumptuous, it seems that I have to. Seeing Su Chen's arrogant look, Manager Yao Wei was furious, his hands clenched tightly, and he was on the verge of exploding. What do you want? Mu Chen took out the gold soul coins from the storage soul guide and frequently hit the middle-aged man in front of him. While hitting, he asked, what do you want? Tell me. Deputy General Manager Yao Wei was stunned. Mu Chen hit very quickly, and now the gold soul coins on the ground have reached more than 2 million. 2.2 million gold soul coins, even the Marquis of the Upper Three Sects and the Tiando Empire cannot take out so many gold soul coins at once. Speak, tell me, what do you want today? Mu Chen used the gold soul coins to hit Deputy General Manager Yao Wei in front of him. All of a sudden, roughly estimated, the gold soul coins on the ground have reached 5 million, 2.5 million. Even the current prince's mansion can't take out so many gold soul coins at once. 10 gold soul coins are enough for a family of 4 to have no worries about food and clothing for a year. In front of him are a full 5 million gold soul coins. Deputy General Manager Yao Wei looked at Mu Chen, and his heart was extremely confused. As the Deputy General Manager of Yuexuan and a soul saint of more than 70 levels, he never dreamed that one day, he would be lavished with money like this. Isn't this an insult? In the eyes of the ladies and young men from famous families in the hall, Deputy General Manager Yao Wei would definitely teach the young man in front of him a lesson. After all, this is too insulting. However, after staring at Mu Chen for a long time, and obviously on the verge of going berserk, Deputy General Manager Yao Wei's clenched hands suddenly slowly stretched out. His face changed 180 degrees, and he smiled and said, then I will decide to accept you and allow you to make an exception to enter the Tiando Empire Palace Etiquette School to study etiquette and music. Chapter 89, First Meeting with Tang Yuehua. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ugh. The ladies and young masters of the nobles in the field looked at Deputy General Manager Yao Wei in surprise. In their impression, this Deputy General Manager Yao Wei was an iron-faced and selfless straight man. Today he actually compromised. Looking at the golden soul coins piled up like a small mountain in the hall, the ladies and young masters present immediately showed an understanding look in their eyes. Let's not talk about the background of the person who can take out so many golden soul coins at once. Just these golden soul coins in front of them are an astronomical figure. If it were them, they would definitely be moved. Soul power plus 2,369 points. Due to the shock in the hearts of these people, Mu Chen gained 2,369 points of soul power at once. At the same time, Mu Chen noticed that there were many ladies' eyes in the field, and they fell on Mu Chen with passion. Whispering, they have begun to inquire about Mu Chen's identity and want to get close to Mu Chen. Deputy General Manager Yao Wei said to the young men around him, you guys stay here and clean up this place. Then, Deputy General Manager Yao Wei looked at Mu Chen and the others and said, come with me, I'll take you to see Madame Yu. Wow, he finally compromised. Before, he said that Boss Mu's money was filthy money. Ma Hongjun said in surprise. Of course, that's 5 million gold soul coins. In this world, there are very few things that money can't do. If there are, it must be that the money spent is not enough. Dai Mubai, who is a prince, quietly explained to Ma Hongjun. Dai Mubai and Ma Hongjun's voices were very low, but they were still heard by Mu Chen. Mu Chen's mouth curled up slightly. Familiar with the storyline of Douluo, Mu Chen knew that Tang San came to Yuexuan a few years later to learn court etiquette and music. Now they may have arrived in advance, and they met not General Manager Aoda, but this Deputy General Manager named Aowei. Following Deputy General Manager Aowei, Mu Chen and others came to an elegant courtyard. There were many flowers and plants planted in the yard. A woman was holding a kettle and watering them. Madam Yu, these children are new students who entered our Yuexuan today. Deputy General Manager Aowei said respectfully to the woman. New students? Isn't the enrollment time of Yuexuan over? The woman turned slowly. At first glance, the woman seemed to be 27 or 28 years old, but her eyes seemed to see through everything in the world, which was definitely not comparable to a 27 or 28-year-old woman. The silver palace dress looked so fitting on her. In terms of temperament alone, there were probably only a few people in the whole continent who could be compared with her. Moreover, there was no fluctuation of soul power on this woman, and she was obviously not a soul master. Familiar with the storyline of Douluo, Mu Chen knew that this woman was the master of Yuexuan, Tang Hao's biological sister, Tang San's biological aunt, Tang Yuehua. Deputy General Manager Aowei walked to Tang Yuehua's side and whispered softly to her. Although Deputy Manager Aowei lowered his voice deliberately, Mu Chen could still hear that he was telling Tang Yuehua that Mu Chen paid 5 million gold soul coins as tuition. Okay. Sure enough, Tang Yuehua compromised and said with a smile, you can leave first, I will take care of them. Yes, Madam Yu. Deputy Manager Aowei bowed to Tang Yuehua and then left respectfully. Tang Yuehua looked up and down at Mu Chen, with a slightly surprised look. With a domain, she could clearly sense the aura of the young man in front of her, which was very similar to her second brother. Killing God domain. Tang Yuehua murmured, soul power +1. Due to Tang Yuehua's shock, Mu Chen only gained a little emotional point. This is understandable. After all, Tang Yuehua's soul power is only level 9, not even a soul master. You all got the killing God domain? Tang Yuehua looked at the 9 children in front of her in shock. As she looked around, Tang Yuehua was surprised to find that the 9 children in front of her actually had a similar aura to her second brother. 9 young men who had obtained the killing God domain. 9. In Tang Hao's mouth, Tang Yuehua knew how to obtain the killing God domain. It was because she knew it very well that she was so shocked. Thinking back to the time, her second brother had survived a narrow escape and was lucky enough to obtain the killing God domain. Hey, what's your name? Tang Yuehua's eyes fell on Tang San. Tang San's appearance was very similar to an old friend of hers. My name is Tang San. Tang San replied. Tang San, last name Tang. What's your father's name? Tang Yuehua asked. My father's name is Tang Hao. Tang San replied. Tang Hao. Tang Yuehua opened her eyes and looked at Tang San with affection. She ran to Tang San and excitedly wanted to reach out to touch Tang San, but the latter took a step back and avoided Tang Yuehua's hand. Do you know my father? Tang San asked. Didn't your father tell you about me? Tang Yuehua asked. No. Tang San shook his head. At the same time, Tang San was puzzled. His father was just a blacksmith. How could he know the lady in front of him? Tang Yuehua looked at Tang San for a while, but did not recognize him immediately. Since his second brother did not mention her, there must be a reason for Tang Hao. At that moment, Tang Yuehua did not recognize Tang San. Tang Yuehua calmed down her excitement and asked, You 9 people came here, and you must know that Yuexuan is the Tiando Empire's court etiquette school, which specializes in teaching various aristocratic etiquette and music. In the next period of time, you will study hard here. Until I am satisfied. Dai Mubai, Ma Hongjun, Ning Rongrong and others were all stunned. Especially Dai Mubai and Ning Rongrong, one of them is the prince of the Tiando Palace, and the other is the eldest lady of the 7 treasures glazed sect. They know the existence of Tang Yuehua. Tang Yuehua is very unique in the Tiando Empire. She is familiar with the aristocratic etiquette of various countries and can play beautiful music. She has a very high reputation in the aristocratic circle of the Tiando Empire. They need to learn aristocratic etiquette and music until Tang Yuehua is satisfied. How much time will this waste for them? Boss Mu, why don't you think about it again? Is there any other way to make us stronger? Ma Hongjun, who speaks his mind, asked without thinking. Boss Mu, learning etiquette and music is a waste of time. These things are useless to us in battle. We should intensify our training now. Otherwise, how can we win the championship of the All-Continent Elite Soul Master competition? Dai Mubai also protested. Boss Mu, these are my hands for fighting and killing. Can they play beautiful music? Even Tang San, who traveled through time, questioned Mu Chen's training plan. He did not think that learning etiquette and playing music would allow him to control his murderous aura and master the realm of the god of killing. Chapter 90 Shocked, Tang Yuehua actually said this to Mu Chen. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Mu Chen stepped out, turned around, glanced at the partners in front of him, and asked, Do you think so too? Ran, Zhu Zhuqing and others looked at each other and nodded. Mu Chen paused and said, It is not enough for a person to have strong strength alone. Humans are social animals and cannot live apart from the crowd. Humans are also wonderful creatures. Many people in high positions, even if he looks strong on the surface, but his heart is full of despair. How to use the art of language, how to move between the strengths of all parties, and how to defeat the opponent even without using soul power. This is a truly strong person. When you are determined to become a strong person, it means that you have to learn more and become stronger. A strong person must learn to control everything about himself. Especially his emotions and aura. Yuxian study is not just about learning etiquette and music, but more importantly, precise control of one's own behavior. Remember, a strong man who defeats others is not scary. The scary thing is that he can even defeat himself. Xiao Wu, Zhu Zhuqing, Ning Rongrong, Oscar, and Ma Hongjun nodded slightly to Mu Chen. Out of trust in Mu Chen, he did not continue to question Mu Chen's training. In Tang San's opinion, Mu Chen was the reincarnation of old man Tang Lan, and it was even more impossible to question this. As for Dai Mubai and Mengyiran, seeing that everyone had no worries, they could only try to learn for a while to see the effect. Tang Yuehua looked stunned, and then looked at Mu Chen in astonishment. The young man in front of her, who was not very old and was used to settling things with money, gave her a little surprise. The young man in front of him actually knew Yuexuan so well. A month later, when the moon was 3 poles high, Tang Yuehua originally wanted to take off his clothes and go to bed to recharge his batteries and better prepare for tomorrow. Suddenly, a beautiful music floated into her room. Beautiful music is like butterflies dancing in the air, like tinkling springs flowing in the mountains, and sometimes, like bright stars twinkling in the night sky. Tang Yuehua can guarantee that this is a piece of music she has never heard before. Tang Yuehua put on her cloak, left the bed, followed the music, and walked out of the room. Hey, the sound disappeared. Tang Yuehua felt a hint of disappointment in her eyes. Before the source of the sound could be found, the music had disappeared. As a last resort, Tang Yuehua had to go back to her room and continue sleeping. The next day, Tang Yuehua got up early and walked leisurely in the college. While walking, Tang Yuehua saw a person standing on a high platform in front of him. He raised his head from time to time and lowered his head from time to time. Out of curiosity, Tang Yuehua walked up to the high platform where the man was. Tang Yuehua was stunned. Thick ink, outline, light ink, contrast, light color, rendering. Follow the stone steps that inexplicably extend from the clouds one by one, slowly upward. Surrounded by lush, unknown small trees, they are winding and leaping towards the light. In the place where the leaves of the mountain stream are shaded, the ancient and simple house feet are faintly revealed, and there is also the curl of cooking smoke, leisurely spreading out from the gaps between the leaves, spreading out. In the distance, there are dark-colored mountains like long eyebrows. The clouds swallowed its feet, but it happily allowed itself to disappear into the dreamlike smoke clouds. The small bridge on the flowing water shows a clear and agile look after the rain. The needle-like drizzle mended the earth's coat, but inadvertently stirred up the crystal laughter on the river. The people in the lonely boat were just looking quietly, looking at the aqua satin-like river surface, or at the mountains in the distance. This is a painting on paper and a distant scene. Who? That the painting man was stunned for a moment, then turned to look behind him. Whispered, Mrs. Yu. Mu Chen. Tang Yuehua looked at the painter's facial features and was stunned, looking at Mu Chen in surprise. He glanced at the paintings beside Mu Chen and asked, Can you still draw? Mu Chen nodded. Tang Yuehua looked Mu Chen up and down again and said in surprise, Has your god of killing domain been under control? Mu Chen nodded and said modestly, These are all your cultivation. Tang Yuehua stopped and said, You are being humble. In the past month, you have never had a normal class with me, Yuexuan. Do you rely on painting to control your emotions and breath? Mu Chen nodded and said, To be honest with Madame Yu, there is also music. Music? Tang Yuehua said in astonishment, As far as I know, you have only taken half a music class. Do you still know how to play music? Mu Chen nodded and said, Every night, I will play a song. Night? Tang Yuehua was surprised and asked, Were you playing music last night? Mu Chen said with a smile, Did it disturb your rest? Tang Yuehua frowned and said earnestly, Mu Chen, as a young man, it is understandable that he likes to brag and be arrogant. But I still suggest that you get rid of this shortcoming and be better at getting along with others. Yan, bragging in front of others is not a good character. When Mu Chen heard this, he smiled and asked, Do you think I'm bragging? Tang Yuehua glanced at the painting drawn by Mu Chen. Tang Yuehua is not very proficient in painting, but he knows a little bit about it. Mu Chen is really picky about her painting skills and can compete with everyone else, Tang Yuehua nodded. In her opinion, Mu Chen was so outstanding in painting, and his cultivation was ahead of his peers. At a young age, his energy was limited. He certainly could not have master-level attainments in music. The music last night was obviously a new piece of music. Only masters of the master level could play it. How about this, I'll play a song for you. Mu Chen smiled. Tang Yuehua had a good first impression of Mu Chen, so playing a song for Tang Yuehua was not a bad idea. Mu Chen's mind moved, and he took out something from the storage soul guide. Tang Yuehua looked at this thing with 7 strings and asked curiously, What is this? Harp. Mu Chen said. Harp. Tang Yuehua's eyes were even more puzzled. Like the harp, it is also a musical instrument. Mu Chen said as he sat on the ground. He placed the harp on his legs, and as his fingers jumped, the beautiful and melodious sound of the harp rang out. I planted a seed, and it finally grew into a fruit. Today is a great day. Pick the stars for you, pull down the moon for you, and let the sun rise for you every day. Turn into a candle and burn myself, just to illuminate you, and give you everything I have, as long as you are happy. You make every tomorrow meaningful for me. Although life is short, I love you forever and never leave you. You are my little apple, and it is never too much to love you. Your red little face warms my heart and lights up the fire of my life. Fire, 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 fire. As Mu Chen played, Tang Yuehua was stunned. She realized that the young man in front of her was not bragging, but really awesome. The beautiful sound of the instrument she had never seen before turned into notes, striking Tang Yuehua's heart. Tang Yuehua staggered like an old deer, and under the rendering of Mu Chen's piano and lyrics, the whole person seemed to be a dozen years younger, back to the age when she first fell in love. After the song ended, Tang Yuehua's face flushed. In her heart, she secretly exclaimed that it was a bad fate. Her heart, which had been sealed off, was actually moved by the young man in front of her who was a dozen years younger than her. Did you really play the song last night? Tang Yuehua asked in disbelief. Yes. The song last night was called Song Hai Yi Xing Xiao. The song I played just now was called Xiao Pingguo. Are you still questioning me now? Mu Chen asked with a smile. Tang Yuehua was stunned and looked at the young man in front of her in admiration. Not only in the field of painting, but also in the field of music, Mu Chen has reached the master level. Thinking of this, Tang Yuehua's eyes were hot and she asked expectantly, "Can you teach me?"